Nowadays, air pollution is one of the biggest environmental problems. It is responsible for around 7 million deaths per year worldwide. Asthma, lung cancer and bronchitis are just some of many diseases caused by inhaling the air pollutions. This issue regards mainly outdoor air, but indoor situations should also be considered. And some of the most common components are particulate matter, NOx and SOx. So we can all see smoke coming from industrial chimneys and traffic exhaust. But what do people actually know and think about the air quality in Breda?
Have you ever thought about the air quality in Breda?
I think it's not so very bad.
Okay.
I never thought about air quality.
It's somehow polluted because there's a lot of cars driving around, there's planes flying around. So that pollution comes in our air, so we inhale it and then we get it in our system. And that's about it. We get a little bit sick of it, but we don't really know that we are getting sick of it.
This video was made for the municipality of Breda. They requested a video in which measurements for air quality were shown for both indoor and outdoor. And finally, to raise awareness about the air quality in Breda. This graph shows our measurements done close to the highway A27 here in Breda. The question was in which way distance reduced PM values. The measurements were done during the early afternoon with a medium amount of traffic. When moving away from the highway, the PM values slightly decreased, and after approximately 22 minutes we entered the foresty area, which might explain the drastic drop. Upon leaving the forest area, the value increased again, which might be explained through a big street we were approaching. Slight increases and decreases in PM values might have been caused by handling of the measurement device. From our measurements, we can conclude that distance from a pollution source decreases PM values, especially if green and foresty areas are implemented to stop the pollutants. A model was used to theoretically calculate the indoor air quality in various rooms. The rooms we chose for were a classroom and a student room. The device we used measures the CO2 concentrations in the rooms, the temperature and also the humidity over a period of time. Some parameters were changed during the measurements to show the difference in the graphs. For the measurements in the student room, the window stands alternated between being closed, open slightly and then fully. The graphs both show the same trends that correlate with changing these parameters. And for the measurements in the classroom, both doors were opened fully after 45 minutes. There were more people in the classroom in the beginning, around 66 persons in total, so the CO2 concentrations was much higher. Based off the graphs, one can see the effects of ventilations and the number of people that can have a big effect on the air quality in a room. If one finds him or herself in a crowded room, one should always take into consideration that the room has to have some sort of ventilation system to provide some ventilation. Furthermore, if someone decides he or she smokes indoors, this person should always take into consideration that when one smokes indoors, there has to be some good ventilation system present. The outdoor results concluded to be false, as our measurements did not correlate with the official measuring stations, not even in the slightest. The results we retrieved were too small to be accurate. However, we did notice that the measurements near the highway did have a higher amount of PM10 presence in the air than the other areas, like the park. And we're also able to conclude that Breda has moderate levels of PM on a yearly average, and this was done by looking at the data provided by the measuring stations. As an advice for the indoor, in general, the outdoor air quality is better than the indoor air quality. Therefore, we advise people to find yourself a balance between being indoors and outdoors. And furthermore, when one is indoors, you should check if there's any ventilation system present or even an opened door or window, so that there always is some sort of ventilation. To improve air quality outside, we advise citizens to drive less motorized vehicles and use the bicycle more, and not to linger around the highways. All of these can be done by initiating awareness talks or programs for the citizens in Breda, promoting ideas of riding the bicycle more.